Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
You was good original. Ooh.
I mean, I was trying to let you have the shine this time.
You don't shine every time. It's your boy DJ Nuki, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel with another
Kid and C original.
Welcome back to the channel, man. We got Americans living abroad. That's what it is.
Go ahead.
First time you realize America really messed you up. I'm gonna throw your ass over there on that couch. Keep on. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. It's a long video, man. But before we do, make sure you check out the links in the description box down below. You already know where to go. If you want to further support, all the information you need is down below. Also, we gotta take this time out and salute to the comment of the day.
Salute to you.
We highly appreciate y'all, man, for real. Every single time y'all hop in the comments, man. But also, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like on the video. I'm gonna say leave a like on the thumbs up.
Okay.
But I really want to hear the first time you realize America really messed you up. I really want to hear what they finna say.
Yeah, like, I really do.
Because living overseas,
I'm here.
And stuff,
I'm ready.
But the crazy thing is, even like leaving out your community, you realize how really your community messed up. You be like,
I'm ready.
Be like, y'all crazy, bro. Shit.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
It's not current, but when I was studying in the UK, one day I really needed to see a doctor. But I didn't know how to access care. I didn't know what my insurance situation was like. So I just went to work. And eventually I was in so much pain that I burst into tears and my boss pulled me aside. And he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "I really need to see a doctor, but I don't know how to access care here. I don't know if I can afford it." And he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Go down the street to the hospital." And I argued with him. And he was like, "No, just trust me. Just go to the hospital." So I went and I was like clutching my like student ID in my hand, my passport. And I was like trying to remember how much I had in my bank account, like checking. And I got called back to the doctor. He was like, "Yep, this is what's wrong with you. Pick up your prescription on the way out." And I was like, "I'm sorry, do you know how much it's going to be?" And he said, "I don't know, maybe 8 pounds. I was like, "I'm sorry, 8? He was like, "Yeah, I don't think it's ever more than that." The receptionist kept laughing at me because I didn't feel comfortable leaving without paying somebody. And I kept asking if I owed anybody any money.
If you're an American currently living...
Bruh.
I feel a dog.
I feel you.
Because, but the
and
thing
it's
is...
so crazy. And we had these conversations all the time.
That's the reason why I never used to go to the hospital or a doctor. Because I'm like, one, especially if you ain't got insurance.
If you don't have it, it's
and I just be like, I don't want to go to the doctor because I ain't no telling how much the doctor bill is going to be like for the minor things. And then your prescription.
So sad,
I done seen people without insurance go get prescription and just be for antibiotics. And it'd be like 80, 90, 100 bucks in the hundreds. I just be like, bro, I'm cool.
It's crazy.
Abroad, what is one time that made you realize...
I am back for round 2 on this one. So I just moved to Italy with my boyfriend who is Italian. We're watching a movie the other day where somebody is running away and they get shot. And I'm like, you know what? That's their fault. They didn't run in a zigzag. That's like the first thing they teach you, to run in a zigzag if somebody's pointing a gun at you. He pauses the movie and he looks at me and he goes, "Who taught you that?" And I'm like, you know, like teachers, adults, parents, like they teach you when you're young to run in a zigzag if somebody is pointing a gun at you. The sinking feeling I had when I realized that nobody ever had to teach him that when he was young. Because that's not a problem here.
And currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Oh, I've got a couple. So I'm from Los Angeles and now I live in Austria. And basically when I first started working here, they were like, you get 25 days vacation, Fridays off early, and if you're sick, don't come into work. And I was just like, I was floored. Because in the US, you only get 10 days vacation and like 5 sick days, and you don't get Fridays off early. You better work your ass until it's 9 p.m. On top of all of that, all my friends here have like 2 masters, 3 PhDs, etc., 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 because education here is actually free. Amazing. What an amazing concept. In addition, I have yet to see a large homeless community out in the open here in Austria because the government actually offers some social support. A lot of social support. In LA, you have villages, streets, blocks full of homeless people because our government doesn't care about us. And here, people like don't measure their worth off the car they drive.
What is one time that made you
Ooh, that last part.
I wanted to hear it. I'm gonna have to go back.
You like, just get on TikTok.
This was I'm gonna have to go back and get her TikTok. So I can.
Come on, we got a TikTok.
Yeah,
You just don't never be.
I know.
But the craziest shit though, we be talking about it now because like where we are, the homeless community has gone up so much because a lot of people are moving here from California. Not but y'all come moving here, driving the price of living up here. Within the last 2 years, the price has went more than double.
Yeah.
More than double. Finna triple I'm talking about from the past 2 years.
Yeah.
It's almost triple now.
Yeah.
So, which the people who've been living here can't afford it because the thing is the job pay hasn't increased.
No.
The living increased because they said a lot of people from California and the West Coast coming here, they can afford because they was paying that already.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy.
realize that America really messed you up?
So I'm from LA and I moved to Singapore. And before coming here, I asked all my friends if I should bring anything like, a pepper spray just in case anything happens. And they were like, no, that's like actually illegal. I don't think that they're allowed to have any kind of weapon. And I was like, what? We literally put them in our keychains as accessories. I was like, how do you defend yourself? They were like, from what? You don't have to. It's so safe. I was like, no way. So I Googled it and no one is allowed to use greater force than necessary to defend themselves. What? Wow. The US can't ban guns, but Singapore can ban pepper sprays?
Abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up? I'll go.
When I had my first child, we were stationed overseas in Germany. And at that point, I'd been a nurse for about 5 years. And I had a C-section. So day 3, after I delivered, I was packing up my stuff and getting the baby ready to go home. And the German nurse walked in and looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm packing to go home." And she said, "Nein, you're not going home. You just had major surgery. We have physical therapy coming to see you. And dinner is on its way up. And if you'd like, I can call down and have them bring up some beer. But you need to rest."
Some beer?
And I thought, yeah, I did have major surgery. I do need to rest. And they kept me for another week until I was ready to go home and I could take care of everything on my own.
What?
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up? I'll go first.
I live in Warsaw, Poland now, but I always stay in touch with what's happening in the US, and I happened to hear about that Las Vegas shooting when someone opened fire on a bunch of concert goers. And it was very tragic news, but that day I also went to the movies, so I was already in a kind of weird mental state. And when I left the movies, I got on the tram again in Warsaw and I saw this guy kind of being sketchy and acting weird in the last seat. And I kept eyeing him the whole time and he had his jacket open and he was holding something inside. He was hiding it. And I thought, my first American thought was it's a gun or a knife or some kind of weapon and I need to move away as soon as possible. So I kept looking at him the whole ride and then he takes it out and it was a beer can. He was sipping it and hiding it during the tram ride. That's what happens in Poland. Not guns, not knives. And I started crying and laughing at the same time because that's when I realized, wow, that's messed up.
If you're an American currently living abroad,
we really do be living in fear. And what just happened in your hometown, the school shooting that, to be honest, wasn't even like publicized. Like a lot of people don't, like a whole school shooting happened at a basketball game inside of the gymnasium during the basketball games while kids are, and nobody, like, it just shoot. People get killed, somebody paralyzed, people losing their lives. And it's just like, how y'all allow somebody to get, like, can we not come up with laws But you,
Now,
but
we
you,
can come up
but
with laws,
you want me,
it's just
want me
not
to
the laws
tell
that
you,
need to be.
but you want me to tell you what they're gonna do? I have my rights. I have my
Yeah,
rights.
yeah.
But y'all know, it's the biggest thing I've realized, like within this past 3 years,
Man.
especially with this pandemic, America's very selfish. It's about itself, and it's sick.
Is one time that made you realize that America really...
So I can make like 200 of these, but I'll just talk about the first time I realized how fucked up the US is, which was in the first week that I got to Sweden, when my boyfriend's family told me that I need to make sure I get insured, and that I get insurance for everything I own, my laptop, my bike, my apartment, my whole body. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's so expensive. Like, I'm already super in debt with student loans, so no. But I asked out of curiosity, just like how much it was going to cost. $100 a year to insure everything I have. For reference, like the average American person spends $456 a month just on health insurance. Just for healthcare. That doesn't include cars or home insurance.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I live in Paris, and 2 months ago I got hit by a taxi relatively hard. I fell down on the street. All these people came, they picked me up, they brought me over to a bench. Someone from a restaurant brought me a glass of water. Another woman gave me a handful of coins, and I was like, I don't need your money, it's okay. And she was like, sweetheart, this is your money. It fell out of your pockets when you got hit by the taxi. And I was like, Sonic the Hedgehog vibes, great. The man who hits me goes to call the ambulance, and I said, stop. Do not call the ambulance. That will cost me $3,000 to $5,000 because that's what an ambulance costs in America. And he was like, what are you talking about? An ambulance is €7.
The fuck?
I was like, oh my God. Remind me to twist my ankle on my way home from the club. And they'll give me an IV so I won't be hungover the next day.
Girl,
catch me at the hospital. This is lit.
Wow.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
So my first year here in Paris, I was an au pair, and I got really sick during the winter. It was bronchitis, and I couldn't breathe. I was coughing a lot. I was trying to avoid going to the emergency room as much as possible because in the US it's very, very expensive. But there was one night where I really couldn't hold out any longer, so I drove to the emergency room. And when I was there, they gave me a nebulizer, and then they wanted to give me chest x-rays. And I was like, listen, can we please not do the chest x-rays? I'm fine, let's just go. And the doctor looked at me and she was like, why don't you want to do these? You have to do them, you could have damage. And I said, well, I don't have any money, I'm not going to be able to afford it. And she looked at me and she was like, it's covered with Social Security. So I was like, oh, okay. And then instead of having to book a whole nother appointment and wait forever for the results, we walked down the hall, we took the chest x-rays, I had the results in 5 minutes. I paid €12 and then I was reimbursed 3 days later.
American currently living abroad.
The fuck? Y'all get reimbursed?
Baby.
And even though €12 is still more than $12 in American money, but because it's just in, I think it's
but
around
that's still like
it ain't that much more. It's like
no.
15, like but come the fuck on, bro. Like what's up with America?
That's nothing. Just like compared to like when what happened to my hand,
Yeah.
and I had to like I was like I got that bill and I said y'all didn't do nothing. I could have did it myself. Like that was nothing, and I had to pay all of that money for X-rays and for y'all to wrap my hand.
And you had insurance.
And I had insurance, and I was just like, wow. And did I get reimbursed? No, because this is America.
Rod, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I started my new job in the Netherlands. This was 3 years ago, and I was going through the company policy the first week. And I got to the section about leave, and they have a holiday leave, like PTO, and then they had sick leave in 2 different areas. And I was reading about sick leave, and I turned to my coworker, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, it talks about, like, the requirements for sick leave and, like, doctor notes, like, after 3 days, but how many sick days do we get a year? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how many are there? It doesn't say. She's like, it's just, if you're sick, you're out. I'm like, I don't understand. She's like, it's unlimited. It's just, if you're sick, you take a sick day. She was confused. I was shocked. There's a moment I realized we're fucked up in America on how we deal with people being sick with work.
If you're an American,
and and then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, even like with your job, right? You sick, you take off. And they're like, you got PTO to cover that? He'd be like, I don't care about getting paid. I'm sick. I'd rather be at home taking care of my health. I don't give a fuck about the money. And like when you be getting sick and I'd be like, hey, just take off. We ain't got to worry about the money. They be like, do you have PTO for that? Well, you know you're not getting paid. And I'd be like,
I
fuck
don't
it.
care.
We don't care. We don't
I
need
don't care. Like
and
my
they be
health
like-
comes first.
they
Just
be
do
like,
whatever you gotta do.
Well, you for you to be able to take it, you need to have. Like I had jobs like that. They were like, well, if you don't have PTO, it's gonna look bad if you miss. I'm like, but you sick.
I'm
fucking
sick.
miss, so you won't spread and infect everybody else. And,
They don't care.
currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
Yeah, so this one hit me pretty hard. It was one of the first dates I ever had in Germany with my boyfriend, and he wanted to take me on a nature walk. Well, it was a beautiful day, and we went on this beautiful trail, but it ended out leading up to somebody's field, like a farmer's field, and I absolutely wanted nothing to do with that. I said, nope, that's it, we're going home, I'm not doing that, and he kind of was persistent and saying, like, why? And I was like, are you crazy? They're gonna shoot us. I was pretty new to Germany, so I didn't really understand how things worked yet. But I did grow up in rural Western New York, where if you trespass on somebody's property, their woods or their field, there's a good chance that you'd be shot and killed. My next door neighbors would get blackout drunk and then start shooting off their back porch into the random wilderness. And he stopped me and said, nobody shoots trespassers here, why would they do that? Even if they're trespassing, like, that's so overdramatic. And it hit me how normalized that was for me growing up, that I could potentially die going for a walk.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Here's a fun one. So I'm teaching 3rd grade in Thailand, right? And it's sports day. Kids running around, screaming, having fun, as kids do. And I hear a bang. Instantly, my heart drops into my stomach. My entire body tenses. My adrenaline starts pumping. And I'm looking around for the shooter. And then I realize I'm in Thailand. And people don't have guns. And they don't shoot children at their school. It was a balloon. A balloon popped. Fuck you, America.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I grew up in southern Indiana, and I moved to London, England. So I just moved to England, and I made a lot of new friends. So I go to a party, this was like 3 years ago. And let's say one of my friends he drank too much water. And all my friends were taking care of him, including myself, and all of a sudden one of them goes, hey, we gotta call an ambulance. And I was like, no, dude, like, do you know how much money that costs? Like, he just drank too much water, he's gonna be fine. And right when I said that, everyone looked at me and said, mate, what are you talking about? And I was like, dude, the ambulance is gonna cost like $3,000. And that was the moment I realized that England had free healthcare.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Hi. So I've been living in Spain for about 11 years, and this happened like 11 years ago. It was my first time going to the emergency room, and when, stomach problems, whatever, couldn't stop throwing up. And I go in, give the girl at the front desk my ID and my debit card. And she takes my ID, checks me in, hands both cards back to me. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I give the debit card, I pay at the end. So I go in, everything, give me medicine, and I go back out. I stop at the front desk again, and I was like, hi, I'm leaving. Here's my debit card. And she just looks at me and she's like, I don't know why you keep giving this to me. You don't need to give me your debit card. I don't get it. And I'm like, oh, you don't have to pay for health services, even in a private hospital.
Tell me.
That was the weird, cause the other day when I went to the doctor, to get a doctor where we at, cause a lot of times I'm used to paying after I leave. You know what I'm saying? Especially growing up, I'm used to paying after you see the doctor, you get your results, or for whatever you go for. Here now, they won't even see you until you even paid your bill. I'm like, because I'm like, all right, so do I pay after? She's like, no, you pay before the doctor even sees you.
Yeah.
And she was like, she looked at me like, is that a problem? I was like, You got a credit card, bro. Easy. I ain't got no issues, bro.
But it's just like crazy. Like speaking on that, like the day that I had to go see them, you called me.
Oh, and they still
you called me to
for
come
a follow
there
up.
For a follow up, but I just really needed them to sign a paper for you know what I needed it for.
Yeah.
And I had to pay a copay. I'm like, I didn't make an appointment to come here. Like, you called me to come up here, and I'm just like,
I need you to sign off on this paper.
I just need y'all to sign this paper, give it back to me,
so I can handle
my merry
business.
way.
Yeah.
And I was just like.
And
I was just like, okay.
And not even that. Like when the girl said, like they were walking on the farm, right?
Yeah.
Remember a while ago, I told you, I was like, to be honest, without me walking my dog,
and that's so sad.
I feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know.
I walked to the mailbox today. You don't know how uncomfortable. I was by myself walking.
I know.
Walking to the mailbox.
And it's sad that you have. Sorry.
Like,
and that's sad that you have to feel like that because you never know what people are thinking because you are the way you are, you look the way you are, or you just walking, or you just feel uncomfortable because you're in like a certain community.
Because clearly y'all can see we live in a townhome, but the community we live in is stupid nice.
Yeah, it's like
we got million dollar homes behind us, right?
Yeah.
But if I just walk like just down the street around in the neighborhood, even when I got my little dog, people look at me, and I'm just like, bro, I'm just trying to get my steps in, bro. And to be honest, I stopped walking for a while because I was like, bro, it's so awkward, and I'd be like, I can never walk the way I walk without having my dog with me, because if not, 9 times out of 10, somebody's gonna get suspicious about something.
Right. And personally, just with the laws that have been passed lately,
I don't feel comfortable now.
I don't feel comfortable. Like, I do not feel comfortable, like, especially like maybe like since it gets dark, you know, earlier now, I don't even feel comfortable like being out past a certain time or when it's dark, because you never know what people like mental or, you know,
like we just talked about the gun laws in Tennessee right now.
Crazy.
It's not cool at all. Like the gun laws needs to change. Nobody should just be able to go to a gun store, get a gun, carry them with them wherever they go.
I'm pretty sure that
without no license.
Those gun laws are passed elsewhere, because I know
it's in Michigan, Tennessee, and I think Texas. They're the main ones I heard about.
Y'all. Yeah, Texas. That was the other one I was thinking about, and I didn't know. You said Michigan. Mm-hmm. I didn't know about Michigan, but it's so.
But I think Michigan. I think they have to have a license. I don't know how. I know they open to carry, but I don't know if they're as free as Tennessee and Texas.
I just don't understand, just with them, speaking on like the like people not being able to have pepper spray, knives, guns.
Here, but the thing is, here they be like, you're a woman, you need to carry some pepper spray, because it's the mindset. It's the mind.
Like you are like training people to be like, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live in that fear for the rest of my life. Yeah. Like it's sad, but.
Let us know y'all thoughts and opinions about this one in the comments. This was like...
I wish I could talk on it like longer, but I know we gotta wrap it up. Look at me, I'm like, I know we gotta wrap it up.
Man, maybe this will be one of the mukbang topics. Like we have a mukbang and just talk about the... Well, I don't know. I don't know.
No.
We probably get flacky on this one anyway. So with that being said, y'all spam us up. Let us know y'all thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. But as always, y'all know how it goes. Mm-hmm. I do go by the name DJ Kid. This is we are.
Go and get it. Ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar.